Yay! Welcome, everyone. We are live today. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are live. And it is Friday. Now, I don't work in corporate per se, but if you do the 9 to 5, or in my case, the 7 to 4, you know what it is to sleep in a little bit. And so it is Friday. And the encouragement today is this. We've learned a lot this week. We've learned a lot this week. Now, the thing to do is to practice what we have learned. And what did we learn? We learned that, I want to say God is within, right? But we have to kick that up a notch because we really have to understand it's not just that God is within, God is you. God became man that man may become God. And this is the thing we can't get our heads around because we are caught up in our human nature. Our nature is there. We live it, we experience it. Yes, but who and what is experiencing human nature? That's the point. That's the part that we don't see. Because without the Spirit of God within, man cannot be. Nothing can be without the Spirit of God within it. So if the Spirit of God is what's giving you the capacity to walk and talk and think and breathe and do other things, then do you not know what you are? But do you know why we're afraid of it? Do you know why we're afraid of who and what we are? Because then that makes us accountable for the actions that we take and for how we treat others in this world. Because it is easier to say, well, why would God let this happen? As opposed to saying, why did I do that? One of those things feels a little bit better, doesn't it? It is easier to say, why would God let this happen? Than it is to say, why did I do that? I'm not supposed to be heavy. Today is Friday. So I will say to you, when you recognize that you are the one doing it, well, then we begin to change, don't we? We begin to see others differently, don't we? We begin to treat others differently, don't we? You see? The world changes when we change our mentality. I'll say it again. The world changes when we change our mentality. Oh, but Angela, you can't really live in a utopian society. We're always going to have people that we don't like. Well, I'm not telling you that you're going to like everybody, but I am telling you that you will think before you act, and you will choose what is uplifting before we drag somebody down. Oh, yes. You see, when we get up in the morning and we go through the day, what's driving you to go through the day? You see, if we remembered that, wait a minute, I am God, but so is my neighbor. Your neighbor may not look like you. Your neighbor may not cook with the same spices as you. Your neighbor may not speak the same language as you. But do you know what makes us the same? The spirit within makes us one. But you see, even that thing that we think is being insidious, even that thing that we think is being insidious, trying to destroy humanity, it still is God. Remember, scripture says, well, I kill and I make alive. So if we're looking out into the world and we can see the bad is God. If we can see the good is God, because there is only God. So you see, what has me excited is this. If I get up and I walk with that knowledge, and I breathe with that knowledge, and I change with that knowledge, well then, I influence everything around me. So what do you think you do? You do the same thing. You influence everything and everyone around you, day in and day out. We don't just stay within our own bubble. We see, we judge ourselves so harshly, don't we? We judge ourselves so harshly. But let me lighten up a little bit. When this is the weekend, and you're gonna go through this weekend and you're gonna meet people, you'll see many faces and you'll hear many names. And what you gonna do with that? Are you going to choose to have a good time? But why would you have a good time? You don't have a good time because you have to fake your way through it. You have a good time because you recognize you are God. That's why you have a good time. And you test yourself and you say, what can I accomplish? What can I do? What little thing? You see, we judge, whether it would be little or large, we judge. But the encouragement is this. Don't look at a thing and judge it because of its size. Scripture tells you a little child shall lead them. A little child. But they haven't lived long enough to teach me anything. Is that so? If we have that attitude that they haven't lived long enough to teach us anything, well, then we're going to miss out on many a lesson, aren't we? So that's why don't put a size to things. Put a love to things. Hmm? Put a love to things. We think that love is a thing. Love is not a thing. Love is not a thing at all. Because in our humanness, we think love is ooey gooey and it's the emotion is what we think. But that is not the case. Love is not an attribute. I love the way Neville said it. Love is not an attribute of God. An attribute would mean like a personality trait or a thing that you do. That's not what love is. Love is God. That's what it is. But then if you are God, well, then you are love. Oh, but Angela, dare I say you may have your head in the clouds. You know, right? I'm all right with that. I'll keep my head in the clouds. Because keeping my head in the clouds will keep my heart light. Keeping my heart light will help me spread love and joy in the world. And is that not what we want? But we want to wait for Christmas. We want to wait for Christmas to say that we have to love one another. No, my grandfather taught me that Christmas is every day. Love every day. Can you imagine if God waited for me to be good? Oh, shoot, he'd be waiting for an eternity, I tell you. He'd be waiting for an eternity. But regardless of my good, bad, or indifferent, God said, let me put myself in you. Let me be you. And that tells you what? It tells you that neither height nor depth, neither heaven nor hell can separate you from the love of God. I wonder why that is. Why can nothing separate you from God? Because you are God. That's what has me so excited. You can go as high as you want. You can go as low as you want, but where you are, so is God. So when you escape God, let me know, because you can't. Well, why won't God help me through my tribulation? God says, use your imagination to free yourself from the tribulation. Because that's what God does. God uses what it is, imagination. But we think imagination is kiddie play. We think imagination is, I'm going to pretend to be doctor today. We think that's what imagination is. It is. But it is also so much more. You see, God uses the simple to confound the wise. How so? Because if you can see yourself as free, if you can see yourself as happy, if you can see yourself as joyous, if you can see yourself as what you want to be. Well, what the scriptures say, you don't have to believe in scripture, but I'm telling you the principles are in the scripture. And it tells us whatsoever you pray for, if you believe it, then it shall come to pass. Whatsoever. You mean anything? Yes. What do you want to be today in this world? When you see it, love it. When you see it in your mind's eye, love it. And have it move you. And you'll be it. Nothing will stop you from being it. Harriet Tubman did it. Oh, you don't know who she is? Oh, Harriet Tubman was a slave, allegedly. Because some people say maybe she wasn't real, but I'm saying to you, if we can use allegory in the Bible, we can use allegory for Harriet Tubman and learn the story. Harriet Tubman was a slave, brutally treated as a slave, but she said, give me liberty or give me death, because both of those are my right. And she got up every day. Let me tell you, her slave owner threw this an iron at her and it hit her in the head, knocked her out cold. Knocked her out cold, man. But when she got up, something was different. Something was different when she got up. There was a fire lit in her belly, in her bosom, and she said, I am free. And even though she got up every morning and she saw her reflection in the water of the horse trough, when she looked at her reflection, she said, I am free. But she didn't just say it. She convinced herself of her freedom. She was convicted. So when she said, I don't know how many times she had to say, I am free. I don't know. I don't know what it took for her to convince herself that she was free. But I know that she loved freedom. She loved herself because she knew she was free, and she refused to accept anything other than that. Even though, remember Neville Goddard says, even though your senses and your reason deny what you say that you are, she believed it regardless. Now you see why I'm excited. All you have to do is persevere in what you say to be true of yourself. Just persevere in it. Don't tell anybody your business. Keep your business to yourself. Why does everybody have to know? Come on, man. You've got to be able to listen. And Neville describes it as, as a woman, when you're pregnant, nobody knows right in the beginning. Nobody knows that you're pregnant. Nobody knows, but you know. And because you know, you walk a little differently, you talk a little differently, you stop doing things you used to do. You just have this secret. And you guard it, right? And every time you ponder your secret, remember Elizabeth in the Bible, she said the baby leapt in her womb. Yeah? That's what I'm talking about. Your secret is your pregnancy. Remember, we don't just get pregnant physically, we are pregnant mentally. So mentally impregnate yourself and move in the joy of that mental pregnancy. And now you're getting excited, aren't you? Because when you move in that mental pregnancy that nobody can see, but what do you know of pregnancy? You can't hide it for long, right? Because then something happens. You have to give birth to that offspring, whether it be mental. Remember what happens? It goes from being invisible to visible. So only you can see it in the beginning. Use it to fire yourself up every day. Draw your strength from the what? The knowledge that you have planted something and it will come to pass. Oh, indeed. That is what we do. That's how we fuel ourselves. Now you see why I'm excited. Hmm? That's why I'm excited. So when you have that mental pregnancy, you see how you just behave differently because you know something? You know that something good is brewing. You know that something good is percolating inside. Oh. And when you know that, that does not depend upon the mood or the behavior of another. Nope. It does not depend on if the rain is falling and you want sun. It doesn't depend on that at all. Because that's not where your joy comes from. Your joy comes from the knowing that you will reap what you have sown. So you see, you're not tossed to and fro by emotions anymore. You are anchored in what? The truth of what? You're anchored in the truth that you are convicted of something and you know it to be true regardless. And some days when you get up, you be like, oh, am I really? Because it feels like nothing is changing. But if you pay attention, you will see the subtle changes. Pay attention, and you will feel the subtle changes going on. Mm-hmm. And then that is what will fuel you and keep you going on a daily basis. That is exactly what will fuel you and keep you going on a daily basis. You understand? Now, let me welcome everyone into the space this morning because I don't want to keep you because it is Friday and we want to get this party started. Let's get it started. And here we want to get it started, right? So, all I will say to you is this. Who's here? MD Sazad, welcome to the space. You wanted to share something real quick before we go?
Thank you so much, Angela.
Go ahead.
I had you
I am well.
3 times ago.
Mm-hmm.
Just I sent a picture, a law of creations. I think that's in your the cover page law LAWS is height. So I think remake it and I send you. You can use in your cover page. I have a request to you. I wish you will use in your cover page. Positively, Angela, I watch your YouTube video. Those videos are only play for members and others open for all. Your speech is very good. Your all thing is, I think, you says, your talk, your everything is positive. I think you good better for the human. Thank you so much, and I will back again. Just I listen to you.
Thank you for being here today, MD Sazad. Thank you. See? This is Twitter, right? Remember, I always tell you guys that Twitter's just got tumbleweeds in it. It's always empty. But when people come through on Twitter, they come through, don't they? Oh, yes, they do. So thank you for being here on this beautiful Friday morning on Twitter to spend time with us. It is a pleasure and a privilege to meet you. Now, who's here on YouTube and Facebook? Big Mike is in the house. Diamond. Diamonds are forever. I see you. Wisdom Almighty, I see you too. Welcome here. Those of you who've not made yourselves known on YouTube and Facebook, I still see you. So welcome to you today. Fan base who is kicking it with us. Amelie, Amelie. You're in the house. It's good to see you. Hey, honey. Afternoon delight. Oh, dear Deborah. And KZ, hello. Commander, Moon, and Dolphin Duck. They are all here this morning to spend some time with us. Listen, go forth today. We're going to get the bowl in a minute, but go forth today and remember this. You are beautiful, not because I say so, but because I am says so. Who is I am? Look in the mirror and you will see I am. So it doesn't matter what your situation may be today. And when you look in that mirror and you say, I want my situation to change. Oh, what do you want it to change to? And when you plant that seed in your mind's eye of what you want it to change to, hold on to it. Hold on to it. Hold on to it. And love it and guard it and be convinced. Just like when you go in your garden and you plant something, you're convinced that you plant it and it will grow. This is the same principle. Plant this here and it will grow and you will reap it and you will change your life. But you have to believe that you can change your life. That is how we roll on a daily basis. And so you can change any situation. Okay? Any situation. Any situation. You just have to do what does the scripture remind us to do? Trust in the Lord with all your heart. And lean not on your own understanding. Your own understanding, yeah, your senses and your reason. That would be your understanding,
I
right?
was busy.
Mm-hmm.
I back again. Just I have to need the morning inspirations is when we get up in morning, we have a lot of energy in
Yes.
our soul, and we think and we do anything. What we are thinking and what can I do in morning? If we decide today's work plan, then it is easier to us. How
Yes.
can we do? How can we done? And how will we done in properly? I think that's it's we can get inspiration from our family, our
Yes.
family member, like
Yes.
my parents, my grandparents, my friends, my family member, my teachers, and other people. I think that we have to need inspirations to do something better for human.
Yes.
We're thinking, but we don't do anything properly. But we want to do something and we want to do good for the human. I think when we are clever, when we think that I teach is primary level, then I think I am a clever yesterday and I want to change the world. The one today, just I have quotations that I know a quotations that is when I yesterday I was clever, then I want to change the world. Because today I am wise,
Yes.
just I want to change myself. I think that
Yes.
if the person changes himself or herself, then she or he will be changed the society day by day. Well, I mean, ethically and morally, we have to need practice. We have to need practice our moral development. Without moral development, we can't change myself, ourselves, and the world. I think that we have to need a lot of knowledge in practical. We learn, but we don't practice. I think that it's not a good teach.
Mm.
It's not a good teaching. I think that I I don't learn anything. When I learn a few words and when I learn a good word, then I make it, I keep it, I I think that's that I want to say. When we want when we want to do something better, then we have to need change ourselves, our develop our morality, our accountability, the transparency, and other things. Then we will build a uh, new nations, new society, and we will be changed the moral subject, the moral perspectives of the society, our family members, the mentality, all of those. I think inspiration is very good. When, when I think about this, we have, I lost my word. What can I say? Sometimes I stop myself. I have no word. What can I do? What can I reform? What can I make a sentence? And what I speak? I have no more word. Then I usually I stop myself. I don't know you hear me or not. Just I think that's I talk to myself. When we talk to myself, then uh, we know ourselves. We know the truth. Who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Who I am.
Mm-hmm.
When we talk to thyself, when we talk to ourselves, then we know ourselves, who I am, and what the lackings, or what is the need for me, the what we want to achieve, the what to need to achieve me in my mind, in my setup, what is the lacking, or what we need, what I need. Then I feel when I talk to myself in front of mirror, and mirror always show the right things, show the real things, real, real things. I think when we talk ourselves, when we talk myself, then I see I have a lot of barrier. Um, I have a lot of inertia. I have a lot of lackings in teaching, in word, in vocabulary. Then I can't make the word, and I want to try, but I can't do it properly. If we if we do this properly in the proper way, and I think that's we have to need inspiration and we have to need guidelines.
Mm-hmm.
If we have guidelines, then we follow the guideline and we try to the way of guidelines, then we will be success. We will be success in our life. I
Yes.
think that we have to meet. That I am someone, and I want to do something, but how can I do? Make arise questions. How can I do? Then we get. Yeah, I have a good guidelines, a good guardians. Then I think that if I have a good guidance, if I have inspirations of by to the from my my family's member, my mother, my sister, my parents, then I take a good guidance. Then I follow the guidelines. Then I can be succeed. I think that is the that is one kind of inspirations, and we have to need a lot of historical example in our life, in the world, and in the universe. We know,
Yes.
we know, but we don't practice it properly. We know, but we don't follow those people, the ideal people in the world who are succeed in their life. We have to need follow them. We have to need follow to follow them, and we have to need to talk with those people, but it's not easy. It is very difficult. We can reach those peoples, but now it is we reach them by online papers and other medias.
Yes, we do. And thank you. Because what stood out to me there was that Rumi statement too, where we, just like you say, we are clever and we want to change the world, but you become wise and you realize that there's none but the self to change. So you see, this morning, as we hear the bowl, when we listen to the bowl this morning, remember that statement. It is the self. We grow and we learn, right? We grow and we learn. You and I can do this. We have the power that's been given to us to do it, right? Give me, give me one sec.
I can't see you. I can't hear you.
Oh, doesn't it? Okay, give me a second.
Angela,
Give me a second.
I can't hear you.
Oh, his
I
sound
can't
is
see you.
gone.
I can't hear you.
His sound is gone. He's saying that he can't hear it now. Oh, Twitter. See? Apps be apping. But let's hear the bowl this morning. Let's hear the bowl. And as you hear the bowl this morning, right? What is it that you say you are? You make that declaration. That's why I love what he said. Granted, you had to listen to what he's saying. I probably will have to go back and find it again and listen, because I know some of it was really hard hitting for me. And so I have to go back and listen to it again. But I want you to understand that these principles are far reaching, and every day you get to see the evidence of it. Now, the great one, or the great king, um, I'm a little apprehensive of bringing you up, okay? Because I don't know you, so just it's all good. If you want to say something, just drop it in the chat for now, because I do have to get going. But I just want to remind us that whatever that is that you say you want to be, you have to believe that you are it. Don't just say, I'm that, and you'll, well, maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. Just like MD Sazad was saying, guidance, the principles guide us every day, right? Those principles guide us every single day. And again, he mentioned, it's in the scripture too, what he said. We may hear, but we don't do. So what does scripture teach us to be? Not just a hearer of the word, but a doer of the word. And he said it this morning. We hear, but we don't always do. Because sometimes we feel that if we do, are we good enough? You see, you have to know that you're good enough. You have to believe that about yourself. I can't make you believe it. That is a choice you're going to have to make for yourself, to say, you know what, I am good enough. And you're going to have to walk in the honesty and the truth of that. And I tell you, when you do it, you're going to see your life change. You will see your life change. But you've got to be faithful to what you believe to be true. And we can do it. That's why I'm really excited. I'm excited about that every day. And I'm like, what can I do today? How can I apply this principle today? And I'm like, well, let me try it over here. Let me try it over there. And I just keep planting seeds. And I know in due time, because I believe in what I've planted, I have to reap it. That's the power given all of us. So, my beautiful friends, as you hear the bowl this morning, I don't know if you'll hear Birdsong because he's asleep. My little Roo is asleep. So, um, when you hear the bowl this morning, believe in who and what you are, and that you are capable. You're not a mistake. You're not an afterthought. But you see, the plan of redemption didn't come about after, it was before. So even though God knew that it would have to go through, as they say in the scripture, the furnaces of hell, the horrors of this world. It still said, here I go. But let me set something in motion that I can wake myself up from it and be free. And that's what you and I get to live out. Hmm. Boy, oh boy, I do love you. Oh, hey, Brittany. I see you. I see you. Let me get the bowl. Whoo, because time and tide wait for no man. I feel like time is a horse and it's just, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just running, right? Anywho, let's get the bowl. Let's get the bowl. I think it'll play this morning. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you all for being here on this beautiful Friday. Oh, it's Atlanta? I'm presuming, or is Atlanta? Oh. Welcome to the space. Thank you all for being here. And I love you all. Truly, I do. Now it is time for me to get to work. So I will see you. I will see you again. Much love to each and every one of you. Hold on, fan base. Hold on. Much love, everybody. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, fan base. Much love to you all.